G'day all, Ben here, East West. This is going to be part 8 of our series of building our own little charting platform using Python. So let's just jump into the code. So here we are at part 8. Part 7, obviously, we just did some of those efficiency improvements. But now it's time to start doing something a bit more fun and useful. So I'm going to come in here to the main window. And what we're going to start working on now is we're going to start working on adding some studies in. So I'm just going to come down here. We've got the heading create a button to fetch the chart. So we're just going to start putting some code in below that. So just scroll this up to here. So the first thing we need to do, and this is just a little repeat of what we already have done, we're just going to create a, we're going to create a drop down menu for selecting the studies. So we're just going to put in a studies label the same way as we have been doing. And then we're just going to put in the spacing line like that. So next we're going to bring in the study options. Now really here there's no limit to what you could possibly put in here, okay? I'm just going to stick, because otherwise this would go on forever, but I'm just going to stick with some of the very basic and most widely used ones. So the moving average, the RSI, Bollinger Bands, the MACD and stochastics. So I'm just going to make that list, but once again you'll see how these get added in, but hopefully what you'll be able to do, as with this entire series, is just draw some inspiration and new ideas about things that you might be able to do yourself that are a bit different. So the next thing we need to do is we just need to bring in this combo box that we've done before. So this effectively just creates the drop down menu. So we want to give the study variable a string value, so that's going to be moving average. So that means that our default study is going to be a moving average. Then we're just going to make the menu, which is the TTK combo box, which we've done before. That is, of course, in the frame. The text variable is going to be the study variable, which we've just created up here. And the values are going to be the study options. So that is all that. And then we just bring in the spacing. So that's all quite straightforward. But we just need to think about the functionality of all this. So this is what it'll look like up until this point, and you can see here that we've got the drop down menu, but I just want to put another little button in here so that once you select whatever study you want to add, there's like an add study button, so to speak. So we need a way to select whatever we've got and then just to add the study to the chart that's already here. So again, this is pretty straightforward. We're just going to go directly below the study options button that we've just created. And then we're just going to create a new button called Add Study. So to do that, simply Add Study button, TTK button. In the frame, the text will be Add Study. This is just the standard spacing that we have been using. So what we need to do here is we need to give this button a command so that when it gets pressed, the code knows what to do. So the command is going to be a new, what we have been doing with these, other than this exit button, which is this one here, we have been giving the command basically functions to run, and this one's not going to be no different. So what we're going to have to do now is create a function called add study. So what this is going to do is this is going to add the study to the chart. So we haven't actually got this yet. We haven't run it. Sorry, we haven't written it. So what we can do, if we just comment that out, if we just run this, run this cell again. You can see now that you probably can't, so you can see here that the add study button is now there, but of course it doesn't do anything. So let's jump in, and what we're going to have to do now is scroll up, and we're going to have to write a new function. So remember, we want this function to be above the main window because we want all the functions defined before the main window is created. Okay, so we're going to bring in a new cell here, and I'm going to call this function for adding studies. Just like that. I'll just make it a markdown so I can see what the hell I'm doing, and then I just need to add in one more cell there. Okay, so we are going to define the function add study. Okay, it's not going to take anything, any arguments at this point. So the first thing we need to do is we're just going to declare a new window. So I'll bring in this line, and it's got to be global again. So I'll bring in this line of code, and we're just going to call this study window. Okay, so that is going to be a global variable, so to speak. So as we come down here, now what we need to do is we need to create a new window. The reason being is that what I want to do is have a pop-up, a new window pop up when we add the study, so that we can change the parameters of the study. So obviously with the moving average, we might want a simple, we might want an exponential. They're the only two I'm going to stick with at this stage, but you could have triple exponential, double exponential, whatever types of moving average you want. But we need to create a window so that the user can put those in. So this is what we're going to do here. We're going to define the study window. So the study window is going to be tk.toplevel root. So what this means is it's going to open a new little window on top of that's. It's kind of, think of it this way: it's linked to the root window, but it's independent of the root window. So this is going to be an independent little window that we can put independent widgets into. And then we're just going to add a title to the study window. So we're just going to call it add study. Okay, really simple like that. Now we will have to build on this a bit more. But what I'm going to do just to start with is I'm just going to bring in a little bit of sizing here and placement of the window. So what I want to do is I want to size the window to fit all the contents that needs to be displayed. So there's a couple of lines here. So this will kind of make sense a bit probably in the next part when we start writing the functions for the actual indicators themselves. But what effectively is going to happen here, I'll give you a sneak peek at what this is going to actually look like. This is probably better to bring it in this way anyway. So I'm just going to comment all these out, but what we're going to do is effectively in the next bit, don't bother doing this. I'm just showing you this so that this makes a bit of sense. But what effectively is going to happen here is we're going to collect the study type that we've selected, and if the study type is moving average, which it's going to be to start with, we're going to have to do a new function to add to the study window. Now what is going to happen here is that the study window is going to update idle tasks. So what that means is it's going to force all the information. Think of it this way: it's just going to force all the information through until everything's run and complete, and that will mean basically running this study before it then goes on and the required width and the required height. So effectively what's happening here is it's just forcing it to collect all the information, and once it has, it's going to work out how much width it requires and how much height it requires to display all that information. This will make sense down the line, but what it's just going to do is it's going to size that window so that we can see all the information that we need to. Because when you think about the actual studies themselves, a Bollinger Band might ask for standard deviations. The word's a bit longer than asking for an MA length, etc., etc. You get the point, right? So once we've done that, what we need to do next is I just want to center the window on the screen. So I just want that add moving average, the add study button, a window I should say, to pop up right in the center of the screen. So when we add the study, you'll see what happens. It pops up right in the middle of the chart, and at this stage there's nothing on it, but what we're going to do is add in various widgets for adjusting the parameters of our studies. So all we're really going to do here, this is kind of what we've already done before. We're just going to work out the screen width. We're going to work out the screen height, and then we're going to give it an X coordinate and a Y coordinate. So what we're doing here is, you probably don't need to know, but these double slashes, that's just an operator. It's just a floor division operator. So what we're effectively doing is we're sort of without going too deeply into it, because I don't think it really matters, is we're just giving it an X coordinate and a Y coordinate that's centered in the middle of the chart. Okay, so without going too deep, if you just do these codes, then that will work out. So we've given it these codes, which come in here, X and Y. So all we're doing now is giving it study window geometry. So we've got the required width, the width that we need by the height that we need. So we know the size of the box, and then this X and Y will place the box in the middle of the screen. So I know that might sound like a bit of a mouthful and it sort of looks a bit confusing, but if you just stick with this code, you'll see what happens. So now this study is now done for all our intents and purposes. You can type this in now if you want, but we're going to go over this a bit more in the next one, because what we have to do is we actually have to create a function to add the MA study into the study window that we are currently creating. So this function just creates the window, and then it'll know, you'll see in the next part when we create the function for the study, it'll insert that information into the study window. So that's what happens, right? So all that information for the study window, this is what this one does, right? It'll force all that information to get done first, and then it'll measure how much room we need on the chart. How much room we need, or how big a window we need to display, and then we work out where we are going to display that window, for lack of a better. Sorry, I'm just rambling a bit there, but I'm just trying to make this straightforward. It's probably better if I just show you. So let's just run this all, and I'll show you what happens here. Actually, before we do that, something a little bit more important. We've got to come back down here to the main window. We're just going to make sure. Yeah, okay, sorry, I had this commented out, which we don't want commented out. We need to actually give the study button a command, which is add study. So that is the function that we've just written. So now when we run this, so here we are in the window. So now when we hit add study, okay, see how it's brought this is the add study window. So it's not really sized to anything at the moment, but the fact is that it's been brought up sort of in the middle of the canvas, which is what I wanted. But depending on how much information, it might auto size it down that way. It could auto size it out that way. But whichever way it's auto sized, it'll always be kind of centered. So that's where I'm going to leave it for this video. And in the next video, we're going to start to add in the functions for the moving average. So that starts to get a little bit more complicated, but this is just where we're up to at the moment. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, or leave a comment. There's not really any comments being left on these videos, so if you like what you see or you want more requests for something different, then just let me know. I can't read your mind. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.